you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. But only you can prevent wildfires.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Hey, welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Loppon here on what has been a warm but not excessively warm day, turning into a beautiful evening and hopefully keeping conditions that are at least somewhat dry around into this upcoming holiday weekend for a lot of locations. Still can't rule out some spotty showers for tomorrow as kind of weak waves move through the jet stream our direction. We will look at the very latest on Futurecast on where those chances are going to be the greatest coming up here in just a couple minutes. We are going to be hot and dry for the 4th. And I mean, that is, I think, probably the best news I'm going to tell you here, because so often I feel like we just have, thunderstorms around. The general pattern just is not shaped for that. I can make at least some kind of off-sided argument for a rain chance almost every day going forward. Most are not good for the next 3 or 4 days. But I think on the 4th, I think we're really pretty dry there. Looks like my display wants to shut down, but we're not going to do that yet because we've still got more for you on Mississippi Live Weather at 10 o'clock, including a chance for more rainfall chances by the end of the weekend there. And as we look outside this evening in Pontotoc, it is still a pretty pleasant evening, 79 degrees current temperature at this time, feels like temperature that comes in around 81. But the fact that the dew point there, it's a measure of moisture based on the same scale as the temperature. The fact that that is coming in at 68 is actually a good sign for you and I. That means we're probably going to have low temperatures to head back into the 60s by early tomorrow morning. So kind of a nice thing going forward to actually have some pleasant conditions begin the day. So again, those temperatures dropping through the mid 70s next couple of hours here at 11. We're 71 by 2 o'clock in the morning. 7 a.m. we're about 70 degrees or so. I think upper 60s out there probably for that lowest temperature. But those calm winds and the fact we've just had some rainfall recently, I think 2 factors that will continue to potentially bring the potential for a couple of isolated patches of fog for tomorrow morning. So don't be shocked if you have some of those, but warming up quickly, mid 80s by mid-morning to noontime. We're 78 right now in Tupelo, easily warmest in the region, 75 degrees right now in Starkville, 80s back to the west. The Mississippi Delta is likely to be some of the warmest temperatures next few days. That's where we haven't been able to completely scour the moisture out of there. That's one of the factors I do think obviously will continue to keep the stickiness there, in particular when we start talking about high heat indices. We'll look over the next week at what those look like here in a moment. The latest here on Mississippi Live Weather Radar, you can see the front that kind of scooped and carved out all the moisture, moved it away as well to the south of us. High pressure is the story here in a big way for us. You see, when you have a high pressure center like this, you have flow that's in a clockwise fashion, right? And so that clockwise fashion means we have winds that are out of the north. What's up north? Well, not much, obviously. So this is where we have dry weather. Up here, dry air, because it's coming from land. And so that's part of the reason the humidity is going to remain so low in the next couple days. And one of the things that certainly works in our favor to keep us dry into this upcoming holiday weekend. Looking at Futurecast as we go throughout the overnight hours, though, one of the factors that we have been watching is the fact that there are some sprinkles that remain a possibility for tomorrow. Now, should that alter your plans? Absolutely not. It's not that much moisture. And I would not at all be shocked if my windshield and yours do not have any of those sprinkles starting to accumulate in any way, shape, or form there. But as high pressure continues to stick around toward us, we continue to have those northerly winds. And again, we're looking here at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning as you're getting to go on your day on Futurecast. Most of the rainfall still to the west of us. But I think the overall pattern, again, kind of what we call northwest flow. We talked about that at 6 o'clock a bit. And so that'll continue to try to have the overall winds aloft guide a little bit of moisture toward us. And yes, we do depict up here toward Boonville, Guntown, maybe up toward Corinth, a little bit of moisture. But this is just about as low on the scale here as we can get. I mean, we're down here way into the green. So not expecting that to be a big deal for a meaningful moisture out of this. This is just maybe some sprinkles. But just the fact that we have had it so consistently on our projections is a sign I would not be shocked to see it. Now, more than anything, this is going to be some cloud cover. And you could argue that contributes to a nicer day because with more filtered sunlight, maybe we don't get quite as warm. And I do think there will be some of us to only make it in the upper 80s for highs for tomorrow in the afternoon. You can see through midday into the afternoon, most of us probably dry with rain chances, again, remaining pretty spotty as we go toward the latter part of the day. So at your 24-hour forecast on the next 24 here, from 69 at that coolest temperature, 79 at 9 a.m., will be 86 by noontime. And yes, we have that limited chance for a couple isolated showers, but I think a lot of us probably, in this case, end up dry. That 90 probably feels pretty close to 90. That's the benefit of the northerly winds. You have that drier air that remains largely the overall headline with this. Now, coming up here in 60 seconds, we're going to be looking at, again, how heat indices are going to trend into the upcoming holiday weekend, the latest on where our futurecast is placing those rain chances and how that all aligns with your fourth. That's coming up as Mississippi Live Weather at 10 continues right after this.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lawpon.
Hey, good evening to all y'all. I do have our chat open here behind the scenes so we can, of course, can talk back and forth as we go through this. Appreciate all the folks in New Albany, Kosciuszko, Corinth watching this evening on Mississippi Live Weather at 10 o'clock. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon. One thing we want to debut tonight, and we hope to show more often, is Weather Watchers. It's a way in which you can interact with us. We understand that you are truly our eyes and ears in the field. We have storm chasers that are trained and do that on inclement weather days. And that's where we largely want to keep that kind of weather spotting. Of course, if you do have pictures you'd like to send in, the Mississippi Live Weather app is excellent for doing that. But on days like today, I mean, let's be honest, you're more likely to have a great picture because you're going to see it right out your window. And so appreciate all the folks who have used the app so far to send in those pictures. We're going to try to feature more of those going forward, especially in these 10 o'clock broadcasts this time of the year here. And so appreciate, I believe this is Sherry and, Sherry in the near Snow Lake Shores this evening there, sending in this cool picture of, obviously a beautiful sunset. Everybody, I know this gets me ready for the 4th of July holiday, so I'm sure that she is ready as well. And I'm panning this, still learning how to use the system, make it look right here all the time, but I went with 2 lakes tonight. I'm not always gonna go with lakes, but we did tonight. This one from Bay Springs Lake, appreciate Amanda with the beautiful colors. I'm sure you saw that this evening. The Mississippi Live Weather app, there's a place if you scroll down, you can send the weather pictures. You can also get in the menu on the left-hand side, upper left-hand corner to send those in. We really appreciate you sharing those with us. At some point, we'll get better at posting those on Facebook, but I guess technically that's what we're doing right now, isn't it? Okay, so let's talk about outside right now. One of my favorite cameras is in Smithville this evening as we look over Matt Lawpon Drive down there. I'm not going to plug that all the time, but I just had to do it one time because I still think it's pretty cool and appreciate those good folks there in Smithville. 78 the temperature at this time. Feels like temperature is 81, but I think that number on bottom there, anytime that dew point is in the upper 60s, that tells you kind of the theoretical how far temperatures drop. And anytime we're 60s this time of year, the house is able to cool down a little bit. I'm not saying you necessarily open up the windows because it's humid out there, but at least in the morning when you step out, you will notice it has kind of a pleasant feel to it. Now, rain chances will go up as we go into this next 7 days, but as you'll notice, Tomorrow, maybe sprinkles, but I think that's probably overselling. I think models tend to overdo this very light rainfall like what we could end up seeing in a couple spots. Typically, it's not as much as what it indicates. We're at 0% on that rain coverage there as we look toward your Friday, and then rain chances go up a bit more into the extended forecast there, especially as we look toward the latter part of the weekend and first part of next week. And so that means certainly if you can front load your activities, the first part of the holiday weekend, the likelihood of them being dry is a lot better and temperatures will go up a lot more. We'll look at it in a minute. So from 69 in the morning, we're 86 degrees by noontime on your Thursday, 90s we head toward the afternoon. The heat index maybe only adding a degree or two to that, and obviously that is a huge improvement from where we were last week at this time. Futurecast keeping us mainly dry, as you can see throughout the overnight time period, as we kind of indicated a minute ago there. The overall pattern, we just kind of have this northwest flow aloft, and as that's the case, some sprinkles a possibility with this, especially up there close to the Memphis area early tomorrow, and chances try to get a little bit greater 10, 11 o'clock into the morning for a few spots. So low temperatures expected to be somewhere in the neighborhood of the upper 60s. We kind of alluded to that a minute ago. And this is a little below the low 70s we should be, so we don't get many of these days. I'll be perfectly honest, when I head to my men's Bible study tomorrow morning, I'm probably taking the convertible just to enjoy the cool weather because it's only going to be around about that long, and so there are very few opportunities to do that this time of the year. 68 in Louisville, 68 Starkville, obviously still some 70s Clarksdale, Cleveland, back toward around Greenville because of the greater amount of moisture, and temperatures just don't drop as far because of that. You can kind of see the shadow of it. It has been the dominant feature today and largely will be the next couple of days. Drier air with that high pressure center up to the north. We'll continue to have a couple of sprinkles associated with that kind of northwest flow. And I'm overselling it to call it typical northwest flow. A lot of times when we mention that, it's because you get these big lines of storms that come through. That's not the case with this. It's just a gradual kind of west-northwest flow, bringing in a few isolated sprinkles through noontime, possibly into the afternoon. But the vast majority of us, as you can see here, not going to see much. Have noticed a couple of times, the last couple of times I've looked at it, it does depict one or two little showers getting slightly greater, closer to Kosciuszko. That might be overselling things just a little bit there. But I think the takeaway is it's not impossible to maybe get a couple of sprinkles out there that are a little heavier. So that's again where that 10% comes in as opposed to just, oh, that's what we call Virgo, where the rain mainly evaporates. Not the case this time around. I do expect that mainly it's going to evaporate before it gets to the surface, but it's not a 0% chance. So 92, the high temperature in Greenwood, Grenada for your Thursday, coming in about 91 Clarksdale, 93 in Belzona, 92 in Greenwood. Normal high is around 92, so we're really not that far away. And when you look at that heat index, it's almost the same as that forecast high temperature. So ultimately, that means we're not going to feel overly humid. I mean, of course, Greenwood and Cleveland, Belzona, always a little bit more hot and sticky because of that added amount of humidity that we have out there for you. Futurecast, again, not impossible to see a couple of sprinkles, but most of us dry as we go into your Thursday evening, dry as we go into early Friday morning and your Independence Day. Mainly is going to be dry as well, as you can see here across the region. I'm going to widen this out just a little bit more to see, again, the dominant feature remains high pressure. So we stay dry through your day on your Friday. If you do have travel plans, might take you down toward the coast. As you can see, noontime, we're dry here. I'm going to pan this southward so we can get a better shot of that there. As you can see, there will be some rainfall there near New Orleans, but you notice the movement is offshore flow. So sometimes we get these kind of bands that start at the coast and try to work their way in. The pattern's opposite because of that big H. And so that means that the drier air dominates all the way down to the coast. We do show on this latest version of Storm Tracker a couple more sprinkles getting closer out here for locations toward Jasper and Tuscaloosa, possibly trying to roll in. But notice those should die out before they get here. You know how that goes from time to time. We're hoping that's the case. Obviously, we'll be looking at the latest data for tomorrow. Dry weather for most of the day, and hopefully for those fireworks displays, looks to largely be the story. As you can see, very little redevelopment showing up on this latest version of the HRRR, which is our model here that we're looking at in this case. So high temperatures for your Friday, Independence Day, 94 Greenwood and Grenada, about 93 degrees Water Valley, 93 back for Houston, 94 for Amory, and that heat index, similar values to what the high temperature is in some cases. You notice, for example, Tupelo and Boonville, those caught my eye, as well as New Albany and there. We actually might be a degree below the temperature there because the dry air is the story. And I think that's one of the things that works against some of the rain chances on the 4th, and hopefully that's the case. Heat indices, though, do start coming back up a little bit more as we head toward your Saturday and Sunday. As you can see, expecting that extended forecast to have heat indices up in excess of the 100-degree point for most days. So this little break we have today and we'll have for Thursday, and to a certain extent still for Friday, is not something we expect to last. It will go away fairly quickly. As we check out that 7-day forecast there, 94 the high temperature on your Friday, 95 by Saturday. Rain chance isn't 0 Saturday, but it's in that 10% range. And kind of like we did at the old place, I think we're probably going to keep 10% off the 7-day forecast, because this time of year I could argue for one every day, and that isn't very instructional if every day it looks like there's a chance, because very rarely do we drop to a 0% chance. So we're 20% of that rain chance for your Sunday. Monday, we're at 30% Tuesday as well, with rain chances, again, knocking temperatures back a little bit more as we go into the extended forecast, especially by the middle to latter portion of next week. A reminder, again, we appreciate all y'all for watching, and you can download the latest, of course, on our app. Keep here for the very latest. We appreciate y'all watching Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
One in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The Health Class Film Guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. But only you can prevent wildfires.